Okay, we're recording. Good morning, everybody. It's Heidi, and I am just absolutely blown away by technology. I just can't believe we're in all different parts of the world, from Colorado all the way to New York City, to New York, New Jersey, and really excited to have Joy Schonholz on the phone today with us. Joy, if you start talking, I think you will take over the screen, which that's what I want.
All right, can you hear me okay? Am I coming through clearly?
You are coming through clearly, but for some reason I can't see your face. Oh, there you are. Okay. So I first met Joy. Well, we met at Top Achievers. I'll never forget. I mean, I knew her. I don't know if she knew me, but we were walking down to get coffee in Atlantis, and always admired Joy. And she's from New Jersey, and she's a top achiever. She just went 6-star Golden Circle. Personal executive, which is absolutely incredible. So Joy, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Heidi. Sure. Okay, so all right, I've never done a Zoom call, so I'm really excited about this, first of all. And I want to just make sure that you guys hear me okay, because my laptop is a little funky right now.
I can hear you.
Okay. So anyway, I'm not from New Jersey. I live in New York.
Sorry.
That's okay. I live on Long Island, New York. I'm originally from South America, and I've been a single mom since my girls were 2 years old, and they just had their 11th birthday. And I consider myself a professional network marketer. I am a professional network marketer. That's not what I wasn't born and thought, wow, I want to be a network marketer. Like none of us have, right? But I truly feel that I found the vehicle to create my own life by design. And I don't know how much you want me to share at this point, Heidi. You tell me, you guide me, it's your call.
Well, you know what, I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that, because I don't think any of us on this call ever thought, when we were 5 years old in kindergarten, writing out what we wanted to be when we grew up. I mean, certainly network marketing did not come to my mind. So tell us a little bit more about that. And I know you were in the fashion industry.
Right, I was. So my background, I went to FIT. I worked in the fashion business for 15 years. I thought that was it. I thought that's what I wanted to do. It was glamorous. So I thought my dad in Brazil had a factory where he would make clothing and then sell, in a retail store. And I just thought it was in my blood. But, many of you, I don't know if there's anybody here on a call that has experienced anything with the fashion business, or perhaps some of you have been in corporate America. I ended up working about 70 hours a week in my 20s to really help other people become very successful. The owners of the companies that I worked for become really wealthy. And I always had a feeling there was just this little light inside of me that wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, and I didn't know how, but I knew at some point that I was going to be a business owner. So after 15 years in the fashion business, I had enough, and I actually quit to do acting. Heidi, I don't know if you know this. I did. I started waitressing, I started acting, and it was just my time to get grounded in who I was. Anyway, fast forward. From that, I ended up being in real estate. I was a realtor for 5 years on the east end of Long Island, and that's a resort community. So very, very busy, on the water, expensive homes, people renting just for the summer, and it was great. And again, I thought I found what I wanted to do. And I thought I worked for myself, because as a realtor, you're making your own hours, or sort of. But I wasn't. And then I ended up having my babies. And at 5 months, I had enough. I just wanted to be home with them. I didn't want to be showing houses on the weekend. And I was away from them almost every weekend since they were born. And I also knew that I was going to be a single mom. Like, I just knew things weren't good, and I knew I was going to be a single mom. And I knew I wanted to create something where I'd be home with them, but also create an easy life with finances. And I was presented by Lisa DeMail for another network marketing company, and did really well, but it was my warm-up. And that's what I always say. It was my warm up to this position. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to it because it led me to Isagenix. And Isagenix was introduced to me in 2011. And I'll just give you a quick little story of where I was. I had gone to Haiti to volunteer with 43 kids in a school in Haiti, had an amazing experience, and came back and found out I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And I had my thyroid removed. And at the time, I also was having financial issues because the company I was with, their compensation plan was antiquated. And I actually started, the more people I helped down in my organization, as you do in network marketing, the less commission I made. And I was looking to make a move. So finances were an issue. I was that single mom going to the supermarket. Oh, am I fading?
No, you're fine.
I was that single mom going to the supermarket, you know, sometimes with coins in a bag, not being able to pay my bills because my income had gone down and I had more bills than money every end of the month. And then finding out when I got back that I had thyroid cancer and having my thyroid removed, what happened was I was fine, but what happened was I gained weight, I was lethargic, I got depressed, I couldn't sleep well. I literally couldn't get up to take my kids to the bus stop. Like at least 4 days a week they were late. And Isagenix was introduced to me, again, by Lisa DeMayo. We were looking for something else. We were looking for a home. And I jumped in. Now, I started Isagenix with zero income because the other company took my ID away. So there was no income coming into my household, plus I don't get child support. So for me, I wasn't in desperation mode. I was truly in an urgent mode to not only get healthy, but create an income and share the gift that I knew in my heart. Isagenix was a huge gift to share it with others. And that's where I was. You know, in August of 2011 when I started, it was like game time. It was time to like really change my life in a big way.
God, I love that. I mean, you know, it's just, this is as good as it gets. And I loved how you said that Arbonne, we're just going to say it because who cares, was a warm up. Because I definitely feel like that for me. And there's some other people on this call that, I mean, I'm thinking of a couple, that one that's really pretty new, that were in different companies. You know, she was with a different company. And can you share a little bit, Joy, why you believe this is not only the profession, right? But you know, the ability to take the reins of your own financial future, but the company, the right company.
Yes, absolutely, Heidi. I do want to just preface it by saying, you know, it's interesting. None of us were 5 years old thinking we wanted to be network marketers, but our children, like I'm seeing my 11-year-olds, they get network marketing. And that's what we're creating. We're creating these little entrepreneurs that from an early on, you know what I mean, are experiencing what we're creating in our lives as entrepreneurs, as network marketers. So I just wanted to say that because it hit me. I was like, wow, we weren't those kids, but our kids, you know what I mean?
I love that. That's so funny because I know Catherine, my daughter, is always like, no, when I get out of school, I want to be with Isagenix, you know, so this is so true.
Right? I mean, they're seeing it. So yes, I mean, I do believe. I mean, first of all, look at the people that own our company, Jim and Kathy Coover, with all their experience. To me, all I had to do, and I didn't do a lot of research on the company before I jumped on board. I just looked at the products and I looked at the company and I looked at the people that were involved in it and I looked at the integrity of the company. I looked at how Jim and Kathy Coover, there's such a commitment, there's such a stand for utilizing the best ingredients, high quality, being an ethical company, giving back, contribution, all those things were in alignment with my values. And then I looked at the comp plan, and at that point, I knew enough about comp plans to see what worked and what didn't work. And when I saw that Isagenix is a binary, where you're building two teams and you get paid unlimited debt, I mean, think about that, where you're not getting a less commission or less percentage the deeper you go, because as network marketers, we're supposed to help everyone. It doesn't matter how deep they are. And to have a compensation plan that not only you could do that, but then when you max it out, you don't really max it out, or you join the two legs or the two teams and start building another one, utilizing that as your strongest, leg. It's crazy. Like, who wouldn't want to do this? When someone says, I don't want to do this, I really feel sorry for them, because this is the way out. This is the way out of so many things that's happening in this world with health and also wealth.
I love that.
Me too.
Thank you, Joy.
You're the way out. I love that. I do. So Joy, I'd love to ask you, because my God, your team's exploding. And a couple weeks ago, it was really funny. We had a really great conversation, you, Ricky, and I. And I love it. Ricky called and she's like, we've got to talk to Joy Schonholz. And I'm like, well, I would love that. And she's like,
I admire you, and I've known, I didn't know Joy as early as Heidi did, but I met Joy through another event with Jeffrey Combs. And Joy, Heidi, I'm sorry to butt in here, but I just noticed that you were attracting so many incredible natural leaders. It seemed to me, at least. And so, and I know when we were in California together, you were really, focused on that and making yourself the best you could be, so you could attract those that get it. I would love any insight on that, or for the team.
Sure. Yes. Ricky. Yeah. I think that's really the bottom line. We think that, if someone not in my organization said, oh, I have to change my attractor factor. But in order to change your attractor factor, you first really get to change yourself. And that was like the aha for me, that even though I had done well and I had succeeded, I was at a standstill. I mean, when I started Isogenics, I became a crystal executive in 5 weeks, and I became a 4-star, I think, in my first 2 months. But I was a 4-star for 4 years, 3.5 years. And it's because I realized that I wasn't really truly taking a look, even though I've done tons of personal growth, at me and what was missing in me, and what did I have to work on myself to be able to attract those other people that I was looking to attract. And the biggest thing that I realized was my mindset. Even though I had worked on myself so much, my mindset was still of I don't deserve it, or I was having people around my life that really I shouldn't have kept around my life. And I mean, one of them, and I'm going to say it, one of them that I actually recently said, I will no longer accept you in my life, was my brother, because it was so toxic. And it may not seem like it could have any, but it does. It does. When we have toxic people around us, it affects everything. And I truly believe those were, various things that happened that had me have the first awareness around, okay, it's time to promote, so my team members get to see what's possible. But it first starts with me and my awareness and cleaning house. And cleaning house means not only my stuff in here, but cleaning all the negative people that were in my life. And I'm not saying get rid of anybody that's toxic. It's what I had to do for me. It was a very unhealthy relationship, and it was what I had to do for my own peace of mind and for my own life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And can you, believe me, I know it's a lot more than a couple sentences or a guide on how you just even started to do that. For those who are listening, who are like, okay, how do I do that? Can you just give us maybe a ritual or your daily routine when you wake up? Because people ask me all the time, how do you stay positive? How do you stay positive? But I would love for you to share, and obviously for me selfishly to learn from you as well, what your daily routine looks like as far as self-love.
Right. I actually have, I decided to, and I've always done things like that. I've been doing vision boards, forever, since 2001 is when I started doing vision boards. And my daughters have been doing vision boards since they're 2.5. When I left my husband, I had them sit down in their bedroom. I sat down with them and we did vision boards. I left a toxic relationship. It had domestic violence in it. And I just wanted to keep very positive with my girls. And we have a routine where we kind of, I mean, it may sound silly, guys, but it works for me. And again, it's what works for me and my daughters. But I literally have a thing where we hug ourselves and we just say, I love you, you know, and I have them do that and I do that. But I also have our vision boards up in our room. The girls have it in their bedroom. Mine is in my bedroom. And I have various vision boards, but I will tell you what I did. And Heidi and Ricky, you may not know this, but I promoted to 5-star, okay, after being a 4-star for whatever, 3.5 years. I promoted the weekend of New Year's. That Sunday, right after New Year's. Right before that, I had decided I was dating someone, and he was an amazing man, but that relationship was not the right one. And I ended it that weekend. And it was amazing that I ended it that weekend. And New Year's Day, I got on the phone and I just started connecting with team members. And that's when I promoted to 5-star. Now, coincidence? I don't know. But I think it was a series of things of waking up. I live on the water. You guys can't see it, but I have a beautiful view of the water. My routine is sit on my dock and just be. Not even meditate, but just be. At least 10 minutes a day. And I have my affirmations. But what I also have been doing, I've hired coaches. I mean, Ricky knows this. I hired Jeff Combs. It's not the one thing. It's a whole bunch of things linked together. It's little actions that are all linked together that's going to have you guys explode. Now, on January 13th, okay, so I promoted the weekend of New Year's. On January 13th, I decided, I have a vision board, but I'm going to write down in the present with a deadline where I am. So I started with the I am at the top, and I am, guys, are two of the most powerful words you could ever use, because whatever follows that is what you're creating in your life. So I know a woman that kept saying that she's ugly and she's horrible, and she's creating that for herself. And no matter how I coached her, it never worked. And she's not in my business. It was in a workshop. But I'm very diligent when I write I am, that it's moving me forward in my life. So I wrote, I am a 6-star golden circle, and I wrote by March 20th, 2016. And I'm a loving, kind mom, you know, fun mom to Sophia and Isabel. All these different points, but most of them had a deadline. And I also wrote, I'm a 7-star by July, I think it was July 20th, 2016. And then I wrote, I earn at least $40,000 a month by, and I think it's June 1st. Well, all those points. Oh, and then I also wrote, guys, I'm in a loving, committed, healthy relationship with an outstanding man by August 15th of this year. And I didn't get attached to any of it. I just said, this is my declaration. Well, guys, I promoted to 6-star way before March 20th. I think it was the end of February when I promoted to 6-star. And I signed it. Very important. I signed it and dated it. So my signature was on it, and I dated it January 13th. And the reason why I signed it, it's because it's a contract with myself. I'm holding myself responsible. And all of those things have been popping up and materializing. And this amazing friend and man walked into my life about 3 months ago, and everything's becoming in alignment. And the one thing that I had $40,000 a month, I never earned $40,000 a month in Isogenics ever in the almost 5 years I'm in Isogenics. Last month in my back office, I noticed that I earned $39,000 for the month. And that's the power, right? It's freaking crazy. But that's the power. That's the power of writing it down with the deadline, sign it, and date it. And I wrote it on January 13th, and it happens to be the birthday of the man that I'm spending time with now. It's just weird, isn't it?
Oh, over, girl. I love it. You go, Joy. I love it. So deserving, my friend. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome.
And you know, it's so interesting because this is outside of you know, I really so believe, and it's so funny because I just did a little presentation. Amber was there, who's on this call. And it's so interesting because I talked about this, about we manifest what we believe in, what we believe. So we have got to create a really positive vision for ourselves. And the Healthy Mind and Body is a great program to do that. And, I'm saying every morning to myself, I'm fearless. And I'm a 5-star. Not I'm going to be, I'm a 5-star. I'm a 5-star Golden Circle by June 15th. I mean, I am doing this too, Joy. It's so cool. We're on the same page, and you've got to work for it. It doesn't happen overnight. Like, to me, it happens when you have that vision, but you believe it too. There's something about it, like, you know what, I believe this. I know this is a vision, but it's going to happen. And you got to keep it in front of you all the time for it to happen.
Yes, Heidi.
So I know that you've got a lot, you've got a meeting going on, but just to wrap up, this has been such a great call. What are just a few other tips you would give? I know that you're particularly great, as Ricky mentioned, at leadership development.
Yes, I believe, I really think that's one of the key things. Actually, when I go through with someone that I'm mentoring and coaching, I always ask them, like, what their belief first and above else, like the very first thing is what's their belief in network marketing? Because sometimes people come on board and they really still don't have that belief.
Yeah.
So that's what I do first is I ask them, and I hope I'm answering your question. And if I'm going off on a tangent, let me know, and then I'll get clear on your question. But that's the first thing. But it's always boils down to their belief in themselves. You know what I mean? Because if someone doesn't have that belief, and what we do is really have someone understand that if they're committed to being leaders, they get to take the action on what it takes to be a leader.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean the title. So I'll give you an example, and I'll give you an example from Raina Mosca on my team, who's a 3-star Golden Circle. Is she 3-star? Yeah, she's going 4-star. I'm like, whoa, yeah, she's going 4-star. And in the previous company, and I'm just going to give you this as an idea, but she's still stepping up, but she's like a great example of that. In the previous company, I was doing a training with all leaders. I was at the top level. There were other women that were like right below the level where I was at. And I did a training at a hotel, and I asked Raina Mosca to train, be one of the trainers. She did not have the title. She had just promoted to, let's say, our equivalent of a consultant. But what she had is she was showing up like a leader. She started doing calls, even though she didn't have the title, hosting events. And there was something in the way, her energy, that she was like, yeah, I'm a leader. I don't care about the title. So I asked her to train. And when other people asked me, well, why are you having her train? She's only, like, let's say a consultant. I said, because she's already showing up as that executive. So that's what I would offer to you guys is don't wait to have the title. Just show up as a leader. It could be scary. I get it. It could be scary saying, wow, I'm going to host a call and maybe only have one person come on or 2 people get on. But that's what it's going to take. And listen, I do team calls where sometimes I have 40 people on and sometimes I have 3. It doesn't matter. Were you saying something?
No, I mean, I so agree. And I do that. I'm, you know what, you're kind of affirming what I'm doing. I love that because there's certain people, it's like they show up as a leader more than certain people with the title, so absolutely. And that's how we groom a leader too, is to put them in a situation where they're challenged. They feel a little uncomfortable because that's how we always grow, right? Feeling a little uncomfortable. And then we get comfortable with the uncomfortable, but then we have to challenge again ourselves always.
Exactly. It's a forever journey. And the other thing that's working for us, and I'm sure you guys are doing it. I mean, look, Heidi and Ricky, we're working as cross lines together. Heidi, you were on a call with my team recently, just this past week, and I'm so grateful for that. And that's what I've always taught everyone on my team is work together. Really call each other, do events together. it's so important. And now that Isogenics has that hashtag one team, it's showing up even more. But I always felt that it's so important to just work together with Sidelines. It's a win-win for everyone.
It's a beautiful thing. I don't know. There's some kind of magic in it when we're not financially linked. I don't know what it is, but the calls and the Zoom calls, they seem more powerful. I don't know why, but they.
Well, and it's cohesive. You know, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and it's wonderful to really leverage each other's strengths. And, you know, as we always quote Laura Ramsey, but really our team, whether we're financially linked or not, really is the best, you know, the best tool, the best resource. So I'm so grateful and appreciative, Joy, that you joined us today. And, you know, one thing that you had mentioned about working in the textile industry or in the fashion industry, you know, and working for someone else and helping someone else's dreams come true. It's so whenever I meet with people and they have a full-time job or whatever, it always is so eye-opening when I realize they're working harder for someone else than they work for themselves. So this is our own business. And, you know, everyone always says, you know, if you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. But this is so much bigger than any of us, you know, I think even can realize. And I mean, I'm realizing it. I know many on the call realize it, but we have the tools and we have each other and we have the belief. And it really does start with us. And I remember when I met Joy, I mean, it was just like this immediate, like we found each other. Do you remember, Joy? Yeah. We found each other and it was like this immediate admiration and respect. And, you know, when you have that, you can, you know, others show up and you help others to find that as well. So I'm so thankful, Joy, for you for being on here and sharing with our team and for everyone who was able to make the call this morning. It's just such a great way to start our Monday.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh wait, will you smile? Cause I want to take your picture.
Yeah.
I'm going to smile. Yeah. Cause I'm going to post a fun, yay.
Can I just share one last thing before I go?
Of course.
I want to share for those of you that are on, and Heidi, you're recording this, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. It's something that's been on my mind, and I was actually going to share it at our local meeting on Long Island that we're doing on Tuesday. Really understand if you're new to this, or if you've been in this for a while, and maybe you're like, oh, it's not working for me. I don't know. You know, I'm still earning this, or I'm not earning enough. First of all, patience is a huge word. It's a huge word. Really learn patience, but just know what's on the other side of that patience, what's available to you. And I always feel like the hairs on my arms are going to stand on end when I share this, because two things happened this past week or past 2 weeks. One is I'm an animal lover. My two passions are animals and children. And I happened to have seen several baby lambs that were being sent to slaughter. And once I looked into their eyes, there was no way I could have them go to slaughter. And I literally said, nope, I'm going to buy those lambs from the person that was going to slaughter them. I mean, it's his livelihood. I get it. And I literally, to be able to pay the money that I did for these 8 little lambs and not even think about it, because that's my passion, and show my kids that, wow, now we actually have another one. We bought a mom and a little 3-day-old little baby. But to be able to do that, and you know, that was one big aha for me. Like, wow, Joy, like it really hit me. Like, wow, I'm able to do this now. Like, what else? You know what I mean? Without even thinking about it, and being able to donate to the farm where they rescue farm animals, where these lambs are now 10 minutes away, and I see them every day. It's pretty powerful. And the other thing is, I pay my own health insurance, and it's scary what's going on with health insurance nowadays. And the insurance plan that I bought, I'm paying so much money, and yet it's not even covering everything. And this week, when I realized I've been loaded with all these additional bills from co-insurance and deductibles, and the bills keep coming for like an MRI that I had, an MRA, I kept thinking, how do people do it that don't have the money to pay for this? And how grateful I am that I have this